see if have another caller in here. I know that has been like kind of itching to get on here. So from the 646 area code, he is regarded as the president of the Deontay Wilder fan club, Mr. Matthew Brown. You on here with us?
I heard BoMac say till this day, so I thought that was my cue for me to call in. But
Not sure about. But you got a question for BoMac?
Oh yeah, I got a couple questions for BoMac. Okay, one of the fights that a lot of fans were looking forward to was Maurice Hooker versus Hooker-Prograis. We know the fight didn't come off because of the contracted weight issues. You know, you were talking about how you have all these strength and conditioning coaches, the chefs. You know, you're the trainer. As a trainer, how much responsibility do you bear for your guy not being able to stick to the original contracted weight with Hooker-Prograis?
Okay, that's a great question. And as a trainer and as an advisor, your main thing, the first thing you want to always look at is the first responsibility is the fighter. And as a trainer, I'm watching the cat every single day in and day out, for months in and months out, right? And not only me, but the nutritionists, the strength and conditioning guys, we all watching it. We all watching it, and so it wasn't Maurice's decision to say fuck fighting Hooker-Prograis. That was my decision, and I made that decision. When I made that decision with my team. The reason why I made that decision is because we knew how hard it was for Mo to make weight his last fight and the fight before that and the fight before that. Okay, so now when Mo first started boxing, he was a kid. Now he's a grown-ass man. Now he's damn near 30. And so he's growing. He's growing as a man, as a person. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm watching him, man. I'm watching his legs, his shoulders, you know what I'm saying, his arms, everything. And from the first time I ever met Mo, when I went down to Dallas and Bud sparred, for a couple rounds, he was small then. He probably was like, I don't know, probably Mo 29, 30 now. He probably like 22, 23 years old. Okay, and when he first turned pro, he turned pro at 140. Now this dude is 30 years old. That's 7, 8 years later. The man is growing. I promise you that. The man is growing. He's not growing because he's eating all kinds of shit and staying outside the gym. No, he's growing because his body is growing. And so when I'm seeing this, when I'm seeing it with his last fight, I'm not gonna put that kid through that going to the next fight. Okay? So when they said, okay, we could fight Hooker-Prograis at 43, we had just came off of a fight at 43. Okay, all right, okay, so let's try it again. Let's try it again because we just not too long ago just fought that fight, so let's try it again. Got him right back in the gym. And then when the pandemic happened, I said, no, fuck that. We're not going to do that, man. We're not going to do that. Because when he came back to camp, he came back, he made it a little bit heavier. I'm like, okay, now I'm not going to take you through camp just to lose weight. We need to go to camp. When we go to camp, we need to be in camp to work on a game plan to beat Regan, not just to lose the fucking weight, right? Okay, all right, okay. So, and I sat him down. I probably dodged a fucking bullet when that pandemic happened because he probably was going to struggle and not make the weight, and then everyone's going to hear all this shit. And then he would have went in the fight unhappy, unhealthy and shit. You're fucking with his organs and all that. So I was like, man, fuck it, man. Just move up to 47. Now Regis keep talking shit like he say he is. He'll fight you at any weight. Then he'll move up. Man, that was a big ass fucking payday they Mo walked away from. But you would thank me now, and thank me later, and then you mad at me for the rest of your life because he went in there and got hurt because he's not healthy. It's real simple, man.
That's my
decision. And now, if it was up to Mo would have went in that motherfucker and tried everything and did everything he possibly can to try to make that weight, and then he wouldn't have made the weight, and then looked at you, and then he'd be like, man, motherfucker, I told you to move up. No, we don't need to go through all that shit, man. Fuck that shit. Let's just move up. It's better competition at 147 anyway. And you healthy and you strong. So let's go do our thing. Real simple.
Who's going to be the candidates for Maurice Hooker's next fight?
Well, right now, Mo trying to work out his contract shit with Rock Nation because they folded up, man. And so when they folded up, he still was kind of tied to Matchroom for another fight, and so right now we're just trying to dig the date out of Matchroom. And so, I mean, whoever they bring to the table, man, whoever they fucking bring to the table, as long as we got enough time to prepare for this dude, which we do, which we've been training for the last 2 months, Mo gonna beat him.
It was a good amount of time there because I remember, like, back in February, the end of February, like, over in the Texas area where they had originally announced that fight between Maurice Hooker and Hooker-Prograis, that it was going to be scheduled for, April. It was going to be at the MGM National Harbor. I was looking forward to that fight. That was around my area.
Right.
Then you had the whole thing with the pandemic. And like you were saying, it's something when you have to have a guy prepared for a fight where they have to come from a certain weight and then come down. But once that, the fight gets scrapped, it's like it's a whole different thing there because now you have to say, okay, do I still stay around this range? I don't know, like, when anything's going to happen. So, like you said, he really can't, like, work himself down to that particular weight and kind of stay at that weight, not knowing when the fight's going to be. It's kind of similar to the whole thing with the situation with Jamel Herring right now, where he had to be ready for 2 separate fight dates and couldn't have those fight dates happen. So when the next thing comes down here in August, he's like, hey, I can't get down there to 130. I can't make that for, this particular fight this time around. I've tried twice, and the fight fell through twice. So now it's like, you know what? It's whatever. Let me just get a fight date, get it over with, and then I'll make weight for the Carl Frampton fight.
Right. So, hey, I mean, some of these guys, they have like 2 or 3 fights set up and shit. You know what I'm saying? So one fight, I mean, you can play with, and then one fight you can't play with because that's what's gonna take care of your family for the rest of your life and shit. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, but it's funny, man. It's funny. It's funny, and if any of those fans out there, Mac, I'll take the blame for it. I promise you I will.